room shimmered with polished glass and daylight pouring through towering windows when the single father stepped forward, worn shoes echoing against marble, and calmly placed a thin folder on the billionaire's desk, saying with steady eyes that he was the new owner. Laughter rippled across the boardroom, light and careless, the kind reserved for people who did not belong. What no one noticed was the way his hands trembled not from fear, but from years of carrying hope alone, waiting for this exact moment to arrive. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of people who refuse to give up, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them. His name was Rayan Elwood, a widowed single father who woke every morning before sunrise to pack lunches, tie shoelaces, and whisper promises to his young son before rushing to a job that barely paid rent. After his wife passed away, life did not pause to grieve with him. Bills stacked up, neighbors pitied him, and employers saw him as unreliable because he sometimes left early for school emergencies. Still, Rayan never complained. He believed that dignity was something you carried quietly, even when the world refused to see it. Every afternoon after work, he walked past the towering headquarters of Havoc's Industries, remembering the man who once stood there beside him years ago, sketching dreams on napkins during lunch breaks. Havoc's Industries had been built by ambition, brilliance, and one forgotten partnership. Long before it became a global empire led by billionaire CEO Marcella Vierks, it had started as a tiny workshop shared by two young innovators. One of them walked away when life demanded sacrifice, choosing family over fame, signing papers he barely understood because trust seemed easier than fighting. That man was Rayan. He traded his shares for stability, believing he had lost his chance forever. What he did not know was that the original agreement contained a clause written in fine print, a promise that if certain conditions were met, ownership could be reclaimed. Years later, after nights of research, legal struggle, and relentless patience, Rayan discovered that promise was still alive. On this bright afternoon, Marcella Vierks watched him from across the desk, her confidence unshaken as advisors smirked softly. To them, he looked like a tired father who had wandered into the wrong room. They expected embarrassment, excuses, maybe tears. Instead, Rayan stood tall, thinking of every night he stayed awake studying legal language while his son slept beside him on the couch, of every rejection that taught him resilience, and of every silent prayer that asked only for fairness. When the folder opened, the laughter faded into uneasy stillness. Pages turned, faces tightened. The signature at the bottom was unmistakable, original, and legally binding. The sunlight that once highlighted Marcella's certainty now exposed disbelief. The room shifted. Power, which moments ago felt untouchable, suddenly seemed fragile. Marcella's expression changed as reality settled in, not with anger but with shock and reluctant respect. Rayan did not feel triumph. He felt release. Years of being invisible dissolved in that silence. He thought of his son waiting at school, unaware that their lives were about to change, unaware that the sacrifices had finally been acknowledged. Ownership was never about money for Rayan. It was about restoring truth, about proving that choosing love did not mean losing worth. By late afternoon, the building felt different to him. The same hallways, the same sunlight, but now they carried validation instead of regret. Marcella walked past him with a nod that held more humility than words ever could. Rayan stepped outside into the warm daylight, breathing deeply, knowing the future would still demand effort, wisdom, and kindness. But now, he could offer his son something more than survival. He could offer stability, pride, and the knowledge that integrity has a quiet power that eventually speaks louder than laughter. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and engage with this video so more people can feel this hope and strength today. Special request: please comment what moment moved you the most and why.